They say you should be greedy when others are fearful. Well, a lot of people are fearful about XRP right now. A top analyst basically just said, no sugarcoating it. If XRP breaks this one price level, it's done for. That sounds terrifying, right? But instead of panicking, I'm seeing an opportunity. Here's why. Just a couple of weeks ago, XRP had actually been on the up. It bounced from about $1.82 up to roughly $2.20 last week. It felt like maybe we were gaining some momentum. But then, wham! Over the past 2 days, XRP slid more than 7%, dropping back down near the $2 mark. All those gains vanished in the blink of an eye. You can imagine the emotions. Excitement turned into anxiety pretty quickly. And then came the real gut punch, an analysis making the rounds on crypto Twitter. There's a market technician out there, goes by 𝗗𝗗𝗀𝗃 Crypto, and he laid out a few scenarios for XRP. One of them was downright dire. He basically said, if XRP closes a month below its 21-month exponential moving average, it's game over for the bulls. In his words, XRP is done for, no sugarcoating it. Now, to translate that from chart speak, the 21-month EMA is a long-term trend line, and right now it's sitting around $1.90. That's only maybe 6 or 7% below the current price, so it's uncomfortably close. According to 𝗗𝗗𝗃, if we end a month under that line, it could trigger a major capitulation, like a free fall to even lower targets. Some analysts think we could see $1.55 in that scenario, which would be a pretty nasty drop from here. Hearing that, I don't blame anyone for freaking out a bit. Done for are not the words you want to hear about your investment. And remember, this isn't some random troll saying it. This is a chart analyst who's been pretty spot on at times. The fact that he said no sugarcoating tells you he's dead serious. It's like a doctor giving you a stern warning about your health. It hits hard. Now, an important detail. 𝗗𝗗𝗃 emphasized the close below that $1.90 level, meaning it's not enough if XRP wicks down intra-month or briefly dips under. It has to actually finish out a monthly candle under $1.90 to confirm the doom scenario. So we could flirt below $1.90 in the coming days and still recover before the month ends. And that wouldn't necessarily fulfill his nightmare prophecy. It's kind of like teetering on the edge of a cliff. You might slip a bit, but as long as you scramble back up before nightfall, you're okay. Still, the market is clearly on edge. In the last 24 hours alone, the volatility wiped out something like $16 million worth of leveraged positions, mostly longs. Think about that. $16 million of bets on XRP going up just evaporated because the price dropped. Well, that's a lot of traders who were too optimistic, now licking their wounds. Nothing fuels fear like seeing people get wrecked trying to catch a falling knife. If you check the crypto fear and greed index right now, it's probably sitting in the fear zone. Last I saw, it was somewhere in the 20s out of 100, which is pretty low. The sentiment has definitely shifted to caution, if not outright pessimism. It's one of those moments where crypto Twitter turns into a doom scroll of negativity. And hey, we've got legitimate reasons to be worried. There's technical breakdown risk, macro uncertainties, you name it. The fear is real. But here's the thing, that's not the full story. Far from it. Because while 𝗗𝗃𝗃 painted the scary scenario, he also outlined more positive ones. And he's not the only voice in this game. On the bullish side, 𝗗𝗃𝗃 mentioned that if XRP can somehow rally and close above a certain Fibonacci level, the 0.50 fib to be exact, it would flip the script back to bullish. That line is around $2.60. Now, $2.60 is a decent climb from where we are, roughly 27% above current prices. But it's not impossible. We've seen XRP move 20 to 30% in a matter of days before, for better or worse. If some catalyst or big news hits and we push past $2.60 and actually end the month up there, that would be a huge sigh of relief. It would signal that this recent dip was just a shakeout, not a full-on trend reversal. Then there's an even more upbeat scenario 𝗗𝗗𝘀𝗰𝗱 calls super bullish. That's if XRP closes above the 0.88 Fibonacci level, which is around $3.40. Essentially, if we revisit and break above the highs from earlier in the year, I remember XRP spiked into the $3 range around January. If we manage that, 𝗗𝗗𝘀𝗀𝗃 suggests it could open the floodgates to new heights, potentially prices we've never seen before for XRP. Now, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. $3.40 and beyond sounds dreamy when we're barely holding $2, but it's important to know that this current chart isn't all doom and gloom. There are bullish possibilities on the table too, even if they seem distant at this moment. Then there's another guy I follow, goes by Charting Guy, who actually has a completely different vibe. He recently said that XRP is not bearish in the slightest. When I first read that, I did a double take. Like, did we see the same price action? But he has his reasons. According to him, XRP is still trading above its 2021 peak of around $1.97. That was the high from the big rally a few years back. The way he sees it, as long as we're above that old high, XRP is technically in a bullish posture in the grand scheme. The recent pullback is just that, a pullback, not a trend collapse. Charting Guy thinks this dip is basically the market testing our patience. He believes a lot of people are on the verge of giving up, and many already have, as evidenced by those liquidations and the gloom on social media. In his view, that's exactly what needs to happen before the next big run. He calls it an accumulation phase. Strong hands, think long-term believers, maybe even institutions or whales, are supposedly quietly gathering XRP, while weak hands panic sell. And once the weak hands are out, boom. The path of least resistance becomes upward. He's even thrown out a number, an eventual breakout to $8 for XRP, presumably once this accumulation finishes and a new bull catalyst comes in. Now, $8 may sound crazy or overly optimistic, but hey, not long ago, $2 XRP sounded optimistic too. It's not a prediction I'd bet my life on, but it shows that not everyone is singing the same bearish tune. So here we are. One respected analyst says, if we drop any further, pack it up, it's over. And another says, nah, this is just the boring part before the next rally. Who do we believe? It honestly feels like we have a bullish case wrapped inside a bearish scare. Right? The truth might lie somewhere in the middle, or we'll swing violently from one scenario to the other. Welcome to crypto, right? Now, before I go on, let me hit pause and make one thing crystal clear, especially with all these price speculations flying around. This might shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor and nothing in this video is financial advice. And cryptocurrencies are highly volatile and you could lose all the money you invest. Always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. Your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All right? Glad we got that out of the way. So let's talk about how I'm personally navigating this storm, because as a long-term XRP holder myself, I have skin in the game and I know exactly what a lot of you are feeling right now. It's that knot in your stomach when you see red on the screen and doom predictions in your feed. But strangely, moments like this also kind of excite me because I've seen this movie before. There's a famous investing saying you've probably heard, I literally led with it. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. It's one of those overused quotes that people trot out all the time, yet it's so relevant. Right now, we're smack in the middle of the second part of that quote. Fear is everywhere, and to me, that signals potential opportunity. Why? Because if you look at the history of crypto, and honestly, markets in general, the best buys tend to appear when virtually nobody wants to touch the asset. Think about the last time XRP was in the gutter. How many people wanted to buy in late 2020 when XRP was under a lawsuit cloud and crashed to like 20 cents? Not many, but those who did were sitting pretty when XRP later shot up to over $1, $2 and beyond. Or look at Bitcoin. When it crashed to $3,000 after the 2017 bull run, people wrote it off. Those who quietly accumulated during that crypto winter were laughing 2 years later when BTC hit $60,000. Now, history doesn't repeat exactly, but it often rhymes. So where are we today? XRP at around $2, fear in the air, uncertainty everywhere. To me, this is feeling like one of those moments where, if I still believe in the long-term story of XRP, which I do, I should be paying attention and possibly taking action, not running away. Now, I'm not saying I'm going all in, aping every last dollar into XRP at this second. Being greedy in this context still means being smart and measured. It means I might nibble a bit more XRP at these levels, or at least I'm certainly not selling my core holdings out of fear. It also means I'm preparing for different outcomes, both good and bad, so I won't be caught off guard. One thing I always do during times like this is make sure my crypto on-ramps and off-ramps are solid. What do I mean by that? Basically, exchanges. If and when volatility gets crazy, you don't want to be scrambling to set up a new exchange account or find liquidity. I've learned that the hard way in past bull runs when exchanges had waitlists or froze withdrawals. So now, I have multiple exchange accounts as backups. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. The bigger picture here is that I'm trying to position myself to win, no matter how this plays out. If XRP moons tomorrow, awesome. My bags are packed. If XRP goes into a long sideways or downtrend period, that's okay too. I have these other irons in the fire like Unity that can keep adding to my holdings in the meantime. And if everything crashes and burns, well, it wouldn't be the first time in crypto, but at least I took calculated steps rather than just hoping. Now, something else that's really helped me keep my head together during this wild time is our community. Shameless plug or not, I have to mention this because it's genuinely valuable. We run a free educational Discord server for anyone interested in crypto, and it has been an absolute lifesaver for me and many others during volatile times. When you log into the Discord, you'll find channels for technical analysis, for news, for beginner questions, all that good stuff. But more importantly, you'll find people who are there to learn and share, not just hype or fear. It's like having a hive mind to tap into. Feeling uncertain about something? Bounce it off the community. Found a cool chart pattern or useful news? Share it and get feedback. I bring this up because going it alone in crypto can be stressful. I remember earlier in my journey, I didn't have anyone to talk to who really got crypto, and every dip felt like the end of the world. Nowadays, when something like this XRP drop happens, I can hop into the Discord and instantly see a bunch of us analyzing it calmly, maybe even cracking jokes about it. That perspective is priceless. It reminds you that, hey, we're all looking at the same storm, and we can help each other weather it. So if you haven't joined already, check out the link in the description to our Discord. It's completely free. Come in, introduce yourself, lurk and learn, ask whatever questions you have. It's a judgment-free zone. Whether you're a seasoned holder or brand new to crypto, you're welcome. I want people to have a place to get solid information and community support, especially when the news gets scary like it is now. All right, let's step back and look at the big picture one more time, because I want to leave you with a balanced perspective. Yes, the situation with XRP right now is a nail-biter. There's no sugarcoating that. To borrow 𝗗𝗀𝘀𝗰's words, we're at a junction where one wrong move, a monthly close below around $1.90, could spell a deeper crash, and one right move, a push above $2.60, could reignite the rally. That's a pretty dramatic place to be, and it explains why emotions are so high. But remember, markets are dynamic. A lot can happen in a short time. News flow, macro trends, crypto industry developments, any of these could tip the scales. For instance, there's chatter about an XRP ETF potentially coming down the line, or other adoption news that could be game-changing. If something like that were confirmed, you can bet sentiment would swing bullish quickly. On the flip side, any negative shock, regulatory, economic, you name it, could amplify the downside, so I'm mentally prepared for both, and emotionally investing only what I can afford to be patient on. What's key for me, and what I hope you take away, is that I'm not letting fear drive the car. I've got my roadmap. Stick to long-term convictions, accumulate strategically, and diversify how I engage with crypto. Fear is like a passenger yelling directions in a panic, but I don't let it grab the steering wheel. I'm not oblivious. I see the cliff in the rear view if we slide too far, and I see the open highway ahead if we break out. But I'm going to keep driving with a plan rather than freeze up or make a sharp turn off course. If you're a long-term XRP holder, you probably resonate with this. We've been through ups and downs. Many of us held through the SEC lawsuit drama, through the 2021 bull run, the subsequent crashes, and here we are. XRP is still in the game, evolving, expanding its use cases. On-demand liquidity, banks, whatever the latest is. That big vision hasn't changed overnight just because the price pulled back a bit. So I remind myself of that whenever short-term fear hits. In conclusion, maybe we do get that ugly monthly close below $1.90. And if we do, we'll face it then, and I'll likely be here talking about what comes next and how to handle it. Or maybe we hold the line, bounce, and this turns into one of those remember when everyone was scared at $2 and now we're laughing at $5 situations. Either way, I'm here for it. I'm staying informed, staying engaged, and yes, staying greedy when many are fearful, with plenty of caution sprinkled in. Speaking of staying informed and engaged, if you've watched this far, I think you'll fit right in with our community. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I share these kinds of deep dives, updates, and personal insights regularly, and I'd love to have you along for the journey. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for these few minutes. Stay safe out there, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video.